talking of musical chairs, let's go on to our second story because who had this coming as well? Yet another McLaren change. Yep, it is. But this time, it's not for this year, it's for next year. Christian Lundgaard is leaving Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing at the end of the 2024 NTT IndyCar season and is signing with Arrow McLaren. Now, Lundgaard will replace Alexander Rossi in the number 7 Chevrolet. In his third full season of IndyCar competition, Lundgaard had one win last year on the streets of Toronto, including 2 poles and 3 podiums up to this point. The 22-year-old Danish driver, his stock has been on the rise for a while, and he finally got the competitive seat that he was looking for with the top team. Now, Lundgaard said it's a huge weight off his shoulders to get this deal done, which will allow him to focus on the final races with his current team. Scary that we're into those final races now, actually, as well. Now, paving the way for Lundgaard to find a new home, McLaren and Rossi mutually agreed to head in a different direction. However, Rossi seems confident about signing with a new team soon to remain in IndyCar. He said he's very confident with current discussions in the paddock about landing a new spot and has the goal of ending his Arrow McLaren tenure by finishing top 5 in the points this year. The photo taken here by Joe Sabinski from Penske Entertainment. Kobe rejoins us for this one, and we'll start with you. Is Lundgaard an upgrade over Rossi? And what type of team do you see Rossi landing at next?
Yeah, once again another change at Arrow McLaren. I can't say that I expected this, but I guess we shouldn't be too surprised. I remember in recent weeks everyone was saying that Alexander Rossi will more than likely go back to Arrow McLaren. Everyone was just assuming since Rossi's having a good season and running very consistently that we would see him go back to that car. But unfortunately, things happen. And like you said, Josh, they decided to go in opposite direction. Now Alexander Rossi gonna be looking for a new home. But what a great thing that happened for Christian Lundgaard. I know he's really wanted to try to get a seat like this to prove what he can do. I think Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing at the moment can only take him so far. And I think that with Lundgaard being on a car like this, it can give him an opportunity to show what he can do week in and week out. We all know that Christian Lundgaard is a really good road course and street course racer. I still think his ovals need a little bit of work, but I think it's getting better. And in terms of an upgrade over Alexander Rossi, if you're looking at Rossi's age and Lundgaard's age, if you're looking at a driver that you can build your program around for the future, I guess you can say that Lundgaard is an upgrade because a 22-year-old is going to have more upside than a 32-year-old driver who's been a seasoned veteran for quite a bit of time. But who knows how long Christian Lundgaard is going to last, given how McLaren seems to give up on their drivers very quickly. And as for Alexander Rossi, I really don't see him at the moment getting a seat as good as the one that he's on right now. And like you say, Josh, Rossi said that his goal is to finish in the top 5 in points. I wouldn't put that past him. I think it is certainly possible for Rossi to finish in the top 5 in points. It's unfortunate, that he's running so consistent. He's going to be out of this car, but I just don't see him getting a seat as good as this one unless you see a changeover at Chip Ganassi Racing. If an opportunity comes up to go to Ganassi, I'm sure Rossi would take it. But right now, the only options I see is potentially a new team like Prima who's coming in, who could really benefit from having an experienced IndyCar driver. And Prima previously said that they wanted to bring one of their current or former drivers from the Prima pipeline, and then for the other seat, an experienced IndyCar driver who's been a veteran of the series. And Alexander Rossi will fit the latter there. So if Prima wants a veteran, I think Rossi would be good there. And Delcorn Racing is always looking for drivers, so that could be another option. And AJ Foyt Racing as well. Don't know what Santino's going to be doing. Stingray Robs, having a very difficult season. And we remember when Alexander Rossi was running extremely well over at Andretti. At one point, Roger Penske wanted to bring over Alexander Rossi, but Rossi decided not to, pursue Penske and stay with Andretti. And I know it wouldn't be going to Team Penske, but AJ Foyt Racing is a Penske affiliated team, so in a way he would be getting in, Penske affiliated stuff. So maybe that could be a fit there. But I'm sure Alexander Rossi will definitely be in the NTT IndyCar Series racing next year. I don't think, it'll be an Indy 500 deal only, or like racing sports cars, until you find something next year. I really do believe that Rossi is going to be here in 2025 running something full time.
Yeah, totally agree. I don't have too much to add. I do think it's going to be an interesting lineup, assuming that these rumors come to fruition here. You could have the last 2 American F1 drivers teammates with a team that has provided so many current and former F1 drivers with a step on the development ladder over there with Prima coming in. So what a story that would be for Alexander Rossi and Logan Sargent should these rumors develop here and those be the two drivers for that team next season. But we had a comment in the chat room. I don't know if Kobe wants to bring that up from Astral Police asking, let's see, there we go. You think a straight swap to RLL is on the cards for Alex? That's something that I hadn't considered. I know that, again, straight swaps are rare, but not totally unprecedented. But I don't know. That would certainly be an interesting development for Rossi. But again, to Kobe's point, I think Rahal, as it stands, can only take its drivers so far, particularly at the Indianapolis 500. I mean, even Graham himself he got bumped in 23 and nearly got bumped again this year. I just sweat the last row shootout out once again. So I don't know for Rossi. I mean, especially with how incredible his overtakes have been at the 500, I feel like that's probably one of his best tracks, certainly his best oval in the series. I think that, he probably would want to see something a little bit stronger than that. But then again, Prima is a pretty big unknown. So who knows what's going to happen there. But that is an interesting idea. If we would essentially see a trade in essence between Rahal and McLaren, that'd be interesting for sure.
It would be. And speaking about that 45 Honda, because with Lundgaard leaving RLL, it is going to be attracting a lot of attention, that number 45 Honda seat as well. So their reserve driver of Yuri Vips is already on the record saying that he is looking to race in a fourth RLL Honda in the second half of 2024 season. Even made the request to make his oval racing debut as well. And according to IndyCar's reporter Tony Jahane as well, Théo Pourchaire recently took a tour of RLL's facilities. And looking at it, the current group of drivers, Graham Rahal, as you said, isn't having a good season. Pietro Fittipaldi hasn't set the world on fire either as well. Ironic considering he stepped in for Romain Grosjean as well. But reading Rahal Lanigan's statement here that they put out regarding Lundgaard parting ways with him at the end of the year, it says that Rahal Lanigan Racing is looking forward to closing out our working relationship with Christian Lundgaard as successfully as possible and thank him for his past efforts on behalf of the team. We are proud to have brought him into the NTT IndyCar series and wish him well in the future. So it's pretty much cutthroat there, isn't it? It's business is business with IndyCar. So do you think that Vips or Pourchaire will likely be the leading contenders to replace Lundgaard or RLL? And could we see more than one current RLL driver on the move as well?
Well, I would love it to be Pourchaire. I think he has been completely screwed over with the McLaren deal. And, again, Josh, we've talked about this on the Encore show in the past as well. These F2 champions win the title, but there's somebody else lower in the standings that brings money, but, also has a super license that gets the seat instead or has the connections or the, whatever the case may be there. So you just look at the last several champions there. I feel quite sorry for Felipe Drugovich. I felt sorry for Oscar Piastri. I know he's in a good spot now, but he had to basically sacrifice a year of his career being a test and reserve driver. And now it seems like the same fortune or misfortune rather has come over Théo Pourchaire here. So it'd be great for him. Be good for Yuri Vips as well. We talked on the show last year. I think everybody deserves a second chance, provided they show that they're willing to learn from it and work for it. So Vips, I think, would be a driver worth looking at, especially considering he's already part of the facilities within the family as the reserve. But again, I think about how Rahal has been running, and I think, to try to stretch your resources. I mean, we talked about this with Andretti as well, downsizing to 3 cars. Sometimes less is more, addition by subtraction. I don't know, but running 4 cars as it currently stands at RLL is necessarily the best move for them across the board with all of their drivers. I feel like that might stretch their resources a little bit thin as well. But we'll see. Again, a lot of pieces still to fall into place with the driver market. It's only the beginning of July here, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think on paper, yes, those are probably Vips and Pourchaire, probably your 2 leading candidates.
Yeah, for sure, and also want to wish you a happy 4th of July coming up as well, Adam. But getting back to the question here, I think if we had to guess right now where this is going, it really seems like that the leading candidates, probably going to be Pourchaire or Vips, but more than likely Vips, because Bobby Rahal, he's gone on the record talking about Vips. I was just reading the Marshall Pruitt's interview with him on Racer.com earlier this afternoon, and Bobby Rahal said, we want to get Yuri behind the wheel of a car soon. He really believes in Yuri's talent. One word that came up over and over from Bobby Rahal was loyalty. He really appreciates loyalty, and Yuri Vips has shown that loyalty to him. Sticking around for basically 2 full years in a row of not racing at all. Just staying loyal as the Rahal Letterman Lanigan reserve driver. So just waiting for someone to, I guess, get sick or injured and able to participate, and then he would be the driver to go in and race an IndyCar. But Yuri Vips, he's just been helping out the team on the simulator and just doing all the things that reserve drivers do. And I guess we'll find out soon if Yuri Vips' loyalty to Bobby Rahal is going to pay off and he'll get that seat. It would not surprise me if RLL put him in Christian Lundgaard's seat full time next year. But I totally agree with you, Ben. I think Teo Pourchaire is certainly deserving of a chance. But looking at Rahal Letterman Lanigan racing as a whole, I obviously think Graham Rahal will probably be there at that team until he decides that he doesn't want to run anymore. I don't really see Graham trying to go to another team. I know he's hinted at that in the past, like if RLL can't give him the equipment that he needs, that he wants to prove that he's among the best. And I don't see an opportunity for him right now to try to go to a different organization. But like you said, Josh, Pietro Fittipaldi hasn't really done that well either in the other RLL cars. So maybe the team could be disappointed in that performance and decide to move on from Pietro. So it would not surprise me to see 2 of those 3 seats open. And I think the other seat could potentially be a landing spot for a Teo Pourchaire.
Would really like to see Pourchaire get a full-time shot somewhere in the motorsport paddock as well. There were rumours that he's been linked with the second seat at Sauber. All we know at the moment is that Nico Hülkenberg has one hand on that trophy at the moment for 2025 and going into 2026 when Audi take over. A lot of rumours going around tomorrow as well about the signing of Ollie Behrman going to Haas. So that releases at least either Kevin Magnussen or replacing Nico Hülkenberg, because Haas have kept themselves very quiet on it all as well. So there's also rumours that we're going to see Carlos Sainz either signed with Williams or with Alpine. So as the seats close in Formula One, the seats sort of close for Teo Pourchaire. So F1 sort of kicking off as it did last year, the year before. It kicks off the driver circle in IndyCar as well. Remember a couple of years ago when we had McLaren dominating the driver market? Not much has changed.